Today you're watching Coffee with the Candidates. I'm Destiny Cruz from the Pacific News Center, and today we are joined by senatorial candidate and current Senator Sabina Perez. Today, how are you doing today, Senator?
Very good. Thank you for having me here, Destiny.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, first and foremost, getting right into it, a lot of us are familiar with you already, but for those who may not know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and most importantly, what led you to public service?
So I was born and raised here in Guam, in the villages of Maiti, Dedido, and Barragata. Formerly, I was a medical technologist, diabetes researcher, and a science teacher at Simon Sanchez High School. And why I chose to run is because I wanted to continue to serve our island to help address many of the longstanding issues that we have here in Guam, including the cost of living. I think it's very rare to be able to accomplish that in a 2-year term. And so I wanted to continue to build upon the work that I've done.
Right. And speaking about that, I know that that's a major concern for you. But how would you plan to introduce legislative initiatives to address that issue?
Okay, the way I approach policymaking, I see it in multiple, it's a multi-pronged approach. And there are many solutions to it. And I want to be able to at least do one solution at a time. I think I would support increasing or expanding the moratorium on liquid fuels tax because that has an impact on the cost of goods and services here in Guam. I also support the national efforts to address the Jones Act. Currently, there's a bill in Congress from the state of Hawaii, which can also help Guam so that we can basically get goods from the Asian markets rather than having it go directly to the US and back to here, which increases the cost of shipping. The other thing I want to do is address affordable housing. Housing is such a big issue. We have a critical supply of affordable housing. People are leaving island, for this reason. And I have ideas that I want to implement to increase affordable housing in Guam. Again, I see it as a multi-pronged approach from addressing labor shortages. And one of the ideas I have is implementing mixed-use developments.
And speaking of being a public servant to the people of Guam, how would you maintain transparency and accessibility between yourself and the people of Guam if elected?
I think I currently do that. My office is always available. We always try to facilitate any questions that come into my office. I'm pretty accessible. And very open to meeting with the public. In fact, I think I've gotten feedback from groups that are have hard time getting into other senatorial offices, but they have access to me.
And I know you spoke about why you wanted to run for senator this time around, but if you can just expand on that, why do you want to run for senator again?
Yeah, so like I said, it's very difficult to address these longstanding issues in 2 terms. I've passed 20 bills towards sustainability. That has been my platform since day one. And so restoring our economy at this point in time, our tourism economy is trying to bounce back. And it's so important that we provide the subsidies that they need, in addition to even redeveloping the brand of Guam. So many of the tourists that come to Guam, they're looking for authentic experiences. They want to see nature. They want to see our culture. And I have many ideas that I want to implement and advance in helping to rebuild our tourist economy. In addition, I want to diversify our economy. And the way to do that I see is by diversifying our education. So one of the ideas that I have is magnet schools. And basically what that would do is expand the GCC model in our high schools. So we can expand what's offered to other fields that we need in our society. So from healthcare, engineering, ecology, tourist trades and construction. Construction is the next thing it's a booming industry. And it's a high time that we build the workforce that's needed for not just what's happening inside the fence, but also outside the fence. I mean, that's really the critical need. And that's what would help our build affordable housing.
And can you tell us a little bit about why the people of Guam should vote for you for senator?
Well, I think they can trust that I will continue to work hard to craft these long-term solutions, stuff that I've already begun, and to also protect the public interest. This has been I've been very staunch about these. That's my approach to policy making. So basically I've been true to my word in regards to sustainability, and I want to continue to do that. because as you know, the work is not yet done.
Right. And I also wanted to just touch back upon your stance on sustainability. Can you just tell me a little bit about why that is so important to you?
Well, Guam is my home. And when I grew up here, it was, I think Guam is such a unique place. And having lived in the States for over 20 years, I even come to appreciate it even more, how beautiful and unique Guam is. And I think how important it is to protect it. And also I've gained this experience, the diverse experiences that I've had. I've lived in communities that have challenges to resources, access to resources. So I want to bring the passion and the expertise together to help solve these long-term problems to help our people.
And I also wanted to ask you, what do you think makes you different than the other candidates?
Well, I think any candidate would say it's their experiences and expertise. And I think what I bring, maybe that perhaps it's a little more unique, is my science background. In dealing with updating our laws, especially environmental laws, I think that comes in really handy to have that technical background and knowledge, which I've used to overhaul some of our bills, especially like the Safe Drinking Water Act. That's a very technical bill. And I think there's many environmental regulations that need to be done. A lot of our laws are decades old, including that law. It was, I believe over 15 years old, which became outdated. And so we really need to, if we want to protect our environment, we need to look at our laws, clean up our laws, in addition to cleaning up our environment.
Right. And I also wanted to ask you, lastly, for those who may not want to come out and vote or who are hesitant, what would you say to those people to come out and use their voice?
I think the election time is an important time to express I think it's so important for them to express their what they want to see. Of course, after election, it's very important that you hold us accountable. So I think it's part of the civic duty of everyone that lives here. And I think, my experience, it does take time to become politically aware. It takes energy to become politically aware. But having been on that path, so basically what got me here, it took me 15 years to get to this point. I never thought of running for senator, and here I am, advocating for policies. And I think it's part of becoming self-actualized as an individual, to be able to express oneself and promote things that would benefit, our community, however you see it. So I do encourage everyone to vote this election.
And just segueing into something a little more lighthearted, could you tell us a little bit, maybe a fun fact about yourself that people may not know about you?
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. So I don't know. I was, a rock climber at one point in my life. So it's, I like, I guess being in nature, that sort of thing. So it's part of connecting with nature.
And the last thing that I will leave off with this interview, I want to turn the table around to you and ask you to speak to the people of Guam and tell them why, again, you want to run for senator.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. Hi, my name is Sabina Perez. I'm number 5 on the Democratic side. I humbly ask for one of your votes. I want to continue to serve you by restoring our economy, our environment, and the health of our people. I want to increase affordable housing, a local economy, which includes local food production, and increase transparency in our government. And I'm very, I'm an advocate for protecting the public interest and trust. And again, I humbly ask for your vote, number 5 on the Democratic side. Masi.
All right, well, that wraps it up. So thank you so much, Senator Sabina Perez. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. And we'll see you in the next episode of Coffee with a Candidate.